Lu Wujiang had finally gotten enough EXP to reach the far side of the nearby river, building a dam. He began to make a large infinite water source, filling the large area with water source blocks. Once he was done, he destroyed the dam and watched as the water began to flow out downstream. He was lucky to be at the perfect spot to create this new ever-flowing stream of water. Smiling as it flowed both ways down the river, hopefully towards villages in need. With a satisfied smile, Lu Wujiang walked back towards his now 4-room house, with a small skip in his step. His land had grown a lot since he'd arrived, and it was nearly big enough to fly around in. Though not quite big enough yet, with a sigh he glanced past the edge of his world border towards the sky. He had practiced how to hover with his wings, and was stable in the air, but the desire to fly along in the air. It was ingrained into his very DNA, and he had become increasingly restless thinking about soaring around. Meanwhile, in the elven forest, the elves were desperately trying to keep the trees alive with the very little water they had left. Months without rain, and the elders' arrogant usage of the water reserves had put the elves in dire straits. The situation was becoming so bad that some of the elves thought it would be better to let the trees die to save the water they reserved for the forest on the elves. The 17th Princess Triel Drizera, the lord of the westernmost part of the forest, was biting her nails in frustration. As she surveyed the dried and dead river bed, a feeling of true hopelessness in her heart, until jumping up to a standing position, she looked in shock as the river started to flow once more. Hurriedly removing her shoes, she jumped into the shallow water of the returning river as if testing to see if she had gone insane. Gently and tentatively cupping the water in her delicate hands, she swallowed in disbelief a bit before drinking it. The cool sweetness of pure spring water bringing tears to her eyes. Rushing back to town, she brought everyone to get a drink, and in the short time she was gone, the small flow of water had turned into a brook of clear water, flowing with new life. With the returning waters, the elves felt alive once more, though Princess Triel couldn't help but wonder. Where did this almost mythical life-giving water flow from? Meanwhile, Lu Wujiang was busy fishing in his new river. Why? 'Cause he was tired of fruit and bread, and wanted to eat some meat. So far, he caught a fair amount of fish and was roasting it on a nearby campfire. The smell of gently roasting fish whiffed in the air around him, picking up a roasted fish skewer and took a bite of the first meat he'd had in around 2 weeks. Adding a little salt he had mined from the nearby caves and purified. Lu Wujiang smiled widely and bite down into the juice fish flesh. After fishing up a compass, likely due to a mod he had, Lu Wujiang realized that the river flowed east and west respectfully, and the sun, or whatever the star was called in this world, rose and set from north to south. It wasn't hard to get used to, hell, he didn't even notice it until he had a compass. As he ate, Lu Wujiang walked back to his small mansion and was surprised to have not one, but 2 sets of guests. The group from the village, and the elven princess and her guard. It was an awkward situation. Baichen and Haichen dressed in elegant silk dresses with Kai on one side of Lu Wujiang, and the elven princess Triel Drizera and her guards on the other, with Lu Wujiang in the middle eating a skewered fish unbothered by it all. Or so he appeared. In all honesty, Lu Wujiang was a bit shocked to see Bai and Hai in such beautiful outfits, and even more surprised to see actual elves. Sighing lightly, Lu Wujiang offered the 2 groups a respite at his now quite large mansion. Both sets of visitors shocked to see the large and luxurious manor looming in the distance as they approached Kai. I thought you said the immortal lord lived in a smaller house. Bai. He did a week ago. Guard, princess Triel, I know, this manor is as glorious as the elven palace. After getting everyone comfortable and offering them a cup of black tea with white sugar, a rare luxury item, everyone was shocked to be treated to something so expansive. Lu Wujiang, so I understand why Bai and his Bai, these are my brothers Hai and Kai. Lu Wujiang, Hai is your brother. Hai. I hear that a lot. Personally, I embrace my feminine side. Unlike my girly big brother Bai. Bai, hey. Kai. Is it okay to be so formal in front of an immortal god? Triel spat her tea as Kai's question, coughing and choking a bit much to her guard's dismay. Triel, AAWWH what? Lu Wujiang. Please, be as formal as you like. I'm not as arrogant as most immortals tend to be in stories. Personally, I prefer people acting openly with me more than blind worship. Hi, well if that's the case. Kai. Please don't. Hai smirked and scooted over before taking a seat on Lu Wujiang's lap, much to everyone's shock. Lu Wujiang was speechless for a few moments, then laughed a fair bit and repositioned Hai to a better position on his lap. Hai's arms gently draping over Lu Wujiang's shoulders as they nestled into his chest. Lu Wujiang, well, aren't I lucky to have a petite beauty on my lap? Hai! Oh yes, I believe you are my dear, immortal Lu Wujiang. Triel, s such open and brazen flirting. With an immortal, with a god. Kai, ugh, I feel lightheaded. Kai slumped back in his seat, covering his face with his hand. Wasn't this your idea? Kai, I didn't mean. Lu Wujiang. It's fine, male or female or in between, cute is cute. Hai. Oh, I totally agree, maybe I could steal Lu Wujiang's first kiss? Lu Wujiang laughed loudly before leaning a bit back in his chair. Lu Wujiang. I don't know, you have stiff competition if Bai's jealous look is anything to go on. Triel squeaked out an incoherent mumble about how unexpectedly the conversation was going. Lu Wujiang, I live by the notion of enlightenment through freedom. It's not so much a go-with-the-flow belief as it is the thought of everyone is free to live as they please, love as they please, and play as they please. As long as their freedoms do not impede the freedom of another. And thought that freedom of choice and living, finding a key to enlightenment and understanding. Triel. I see, we elves have a similar belief system, but it's not as open as yours, it's see. Triel trailed off to the squeal as Bai suddenly stood up and kissed Lu Wujiang on the lips. Much to the utter shock of literally everyone there. Lu Wujiang stared back blankly as Bai pulled away with a bright and full blush. Hai's mouth was agape in shock, a broad smile threatening to break out on his face as Kai ended up flipping the chair back in shock and was laying mouth open so wide he could swallow a kickball. Lu Wujiang, well. That was truly unexpected.